He moved away from her, down towards the other end of the room, where he stopped in front of one of the niches in the wall. From it he took a long inlaid piece of metal, intricately worked in gold and silver.
"I usually don't have much interest in metals," he said, "but I couldn't resist this piece when I saw it."
He held it out for her and smiled when she took it and turned it over to study both sides. "Is it a belt hook?" she asked when she saw the pea-sized catch at one end. The rest was as long as her hand, flat and thin as a blade. A blade. He smiled in real delight.
"Oh, very good. Yes, I'm sure that's what it is. There's one at the Metropolitan in New York, though I think the work on this one is finer," he said, pointing with a thick finger to an etched curve that flowed across the flat surface.
Losing interest in it, he turned away from her and went back across the room. She turned to the niche and, keeping her back to him, slipped the belt hook into the pocket of her slacks. As he leaned towards yet another case and she saw what was inside it, Brett's knees weakened with terror, and she was swept with bone-shaking cold. For inside the case sat the covered vase that had been taken from the exhibition at the ducal palace. He moved around the case and positioned himself on the other side so that, glancing through the transparent sheets of plexiglass, he could see her.
"Ah, I see that you recognize the vase, Dotoressa. Glorious, isn't it? I'd always wanted one like this, but they're impossible to find, as you point out so well in your book."
She wrapped her arms around herself, hoping that way to retain some of the heat that was so quickly fleeing from her body.
"It's cold in here," she said.
"Ah, yes, it is, isn't it? I've got some silk scrolls here, filed in drawers, and I don't want to risk heating the room until I can get them protected in a heat and humidity-controlled chamber. So I'm afraid you'll have to be uncomfortable while you're here, Dotoressa."